cannot any longer depend on a benevolent white person in office to look out for our needs. That responsibility is ours. We got black people in power, but they don't have power. We got black people with money. We have black people with money that we think are giants, but in the company of their white counterparts, they are midgets. Now, if we want to get where we want to go, we can't focus on the house that has rejected us and our fathers for 400 years. We have to now focus on ourselves. Now follow this and I'm out of here. I'm complete. Follow this.
Family, in the year 2005, Tavi Smiley came up with a really nice initiative where he brought black leaders together, including Minister Louis Farrakhan, to sit on one table and discuss issues affecting black people in America. And the initiative was calling for black unity. And one of the most things that was discussed is that black leaders should be able to push black unity from the leadership level and ensure that we do not depend, on the white man in office for black needs to be met. You understand that in America, many times the black people are usually economically strained, and this was a call for black leaders to ensure that they look up for the needs of black people. And the easiest way to propagate this is through black unity. And according to Louis Farrakhan, black unity can bring a lot. Black leaders should ensure that they bring black people together and ensure that black people strive, in a white-led country. So family, I want you to hear this conversation very keenly. Once the video is done, we will get back and do a very nice analysis about the same. I want us to watch it, then we shall get back shortly.
Brother Minister, I'm just assuming, just guessing, you probably got something you want to say.
Having listened carefully to all of my wonderful brothers and sisters, I recognize that the thing that is missing is not the genius that is present or the genius that is absent. But the thing that is missing is the unity of us as a people. My beloved brother, Mr. Frazier, articulated some magnificent economic truths that can be realized fully by the unity of us as a people. My sister talked about education and health issues. We cannot any longer depend on a benevolent white person in office to look out for our needs. That responsibility is ours. Now, whether my brother, Bishop Eddie Long, can visit the White House and speak on behalf of us, or whether the Reverend Jackson can visit the White House and speak on behalf of us, or any of us.
They haven't invited me, Minister Farr. They haven't invited me.
Oh, well, you're on your way though, brother, for sure. When you can assemble us like this, you are a very important man. The few points that I want to make is based on what I heard my sister with the union She wants to be at the right table at the right time to talk about the right issues where workers are concerned. Everyone at this table, my dear sister, talked about policy and community. Reverend Lowry and Reverend Sharpton brilliantly defined for us really the crux of the matter. Here's what I see. Respectfully, Frederick Douglass said, power concedes nothing without a demand. But power won't even concede to a demand if the demand is coming from a weak constituency that looks like they've lost their testicular fortitude. Careful now. Careful. I'm a Baptist preacher too. But listen, family, listen. The generational gap is serious. But it's written of in Scripture. When Moses gathered the people in the wilderness, he spied the promised land. But there were some giants in the promised land. And the people were asked, go in, we're with you. They said, wait a minute, God. We would go, but the giants are there. They had no faith that they could take the land from the giants. So what did God say? Okay, you wander in the wilderness till you die out. And I will take your children and they will inhabit the promised land. Martin Luther King said, I've been to the mountaintop. I have seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but we as a people will get there when we separate from a Pharaohic idea of mental slavery. Our children, listen, our children cannot eat at the table of illusion and hypocrisy. Most of us who have access, who have wealth, who have quote unquote positions, we are like mannequins in the shopping mall of democracy. When you go to the shopping mall, you see the mannequin. The mannequin is dressed in what you would like to buy. The mannequin can't talk. The mannequin can't walk. We got black people in power, but they don't have power. We got black people with money. We have black people with money that we think are giants, but in the company of their white counterparts, they are midgets. Now, if we want to get where we want to go, we can't focus on the house that has rejected us and our fathers for 400 years. We have to now focus on ourselves. Now follow this and I'm out of here. I'm complete. Follow this. President Bush, bless his heart, is worried about weapons of mass destruction. No dark nation should have a weapon of mass destruction. They have a fear. France got it. England got it. I think Germany may have something. South Africa has it. Israel has it. These are some of them, the former colonial masters. They have the right to have it, but don't give it to a darker power. We're worried about China has it. India has it. Lord have mercy. Pakistan got it. Korea was the axis of evil. Now Korea said, well, we got it. All of a sudden they fell off the screen. It's now Iran and Iraq. Well, if they are so afraid of weapons of mass destruction, my teacher, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, said, our unity is more powerful than an atomic or hydrogen bomb. That's the one thing we have never tried. We've kneeled in, crawled in, prayed in, lied in, slept in, but still we are out. If you want to get what you want, we gotta start with a contract with us. A contract, a covenant with us. We in leadership make a covenant with your people that you will never sell them out. We as leaders, listen. We as leaders, so-called, must make a covenant with our people that nothing is more important than the salvation of a people who are now on a death march. While we're singing and dancing and popping our finger and shaking our backside to the world, we are on a death march into ovens, but not the same oven called Auschwitz, but it is a destruction coming to our people through bad health care, no health insurance, HIV, AIDS, drive-by shootings, gang conflict, crack cocaine. We are now become the enemy of ourselves. So we have to make a covenant. And in closing, in my conclusion, oh yes, I'm a Baptist preacher now. In my conclusion, in the 37th chapter of Ezekiel, there was some dry bones that were in a valley. And the bones were talking to one another. They were having a conversation about a contract. And as they were having this contract, some of the bones said, our hope is lost. Our bones are dried. We are cut off from our pot. There's some that are watching by television and some in this audience that think that we will never come together, that we will never make the right covenant or contract. I say to you, go back and read your scripture. Because when the Son of Man was set down in that valley that was full of bones, he spoke to those bones and the bones shook and the bones rattled. But they never stood up. So he went back to his sender and he said, Lord, I have spoken to the bones. And nobody has spoken to the bones like black leaders and black preachers. Nobody speaks to the bones like a Reverend Jackson or a T.D. Jakes or Bishop Long or Bishop Patterson or Cornel West. And those of us that preach, Reverend Sharpton, the bones always listen. The bones shake. The bones rattle, but they never get up and they never do what they're supposed to do. So one generation died dies and another generation is born, and we continue to run the same game. So the Son of Man went back to his sin and said, I've been talking. The bones been shaken, but there's still no life in them. He said, well, don't talk to the bones no more. Prophesy to the winds and let the winds blow on these bones. See, Bush is a wind. Your rejection at the table is a wind. My brother's going to dinner in the White House and can't come away with what is in the best interest of all our people. Jesse running twice, but still couldn't come away with what our people need. All of this is a farce. If we don't make up our minds today to make this contract, this covenant today, not with us and the Democratic Party, to hell with the Democrats and to hell with the Republicans.
Fam, this should be the most interesting video I've come across in the social media platform, featuring the minister, Louis Farrakhan. Louis Farrakhan was one vocal leader during his time. I understand right now he's in his old ages, and he cannot be able to command crowds like he did then. The one thing I commend him is that his time, during his prime time, he spoke a lot about the empowerment of black people. And in this video specifically, he spoke about the state of black union. You know, and this was in 2005, and this still resonates with black people today. There is a lot that we are yet to do as a community. There is a lot that we are yet to unlearn as a community, because these were things that were taught years ago, but we can still resonate with the same message. And I thought that it is even powerful to hear this same message in 2025. Louis Farrakhan starts his conversation by saying that the unity of black people is missing in America, you know, and we can actually achieve a lot economically with our unity. You know, many a times we have a lot of economical anxiety because as black folks we are underprivileged. When it comes to employment opportunities, we cannot be able to match our employment opportunities with their white counterparts. But Louis Farrakhan says that with black unity, we can be able to thrive economically. We cannot depend on the white man in office to look out for our needs. That is our responsibility. How do we do this? By coming together as a people, by creating opportunities amongst ourselves, by coming up, you know, with networking, you know, ideas to ensure that black leaders, black scholars, black educators are able to come up, black businessmen, you know, black privileged guys who have a lot of money, you know, can come up together and ensure that they give fellow black people opportunities so that we may be able to solve the problem that we have economically. And the only way that this can happen is through black unity. Fam, you notice that in this episode, there were so many black people in that event on the day. The event was dubbed the State of Black Union. There were many scholars, including pastors, spiritual leaders, you know, and Louis Farrakhan told them that the only way we can thrive and ensure that there is complete black unity is by ensuring that the leaders are fully committed in this cause, that the leaders reach a consensus with their black counterparts, you know, the black masses, and ensure that they do not cheat on them. They ensure that they are fully focused to change the lives of black people as leaders. The generational gap is serious, but it's written off in scripture. When Moses led the Israelites to the promised land, they were afraid of the giants. They were afraid of the giants who had already occupied, you know, the promised land. But God told them if they do not have faith, then they could their children, would eventually be able to take up the land in future. God told them to wander in the wilderness, and he will take their children to inhabit the promised land. Martin Luther King once said, I have been to the mountaintop. I have seen the promised land. I may have not gotten there, but we as a people, we get there when we separate from mental slavery. We have a lot of mental slavery in our heads. The only way we can be able to see the promised land in this case, the only way we can be able to achieve the economic independence would be if we remove the mental slavery that was put by the white supremacists to ensure that we are always divided. The only key to our success is our unity. Without unity, we cannot be able to push agendas that may make black communities thrive in the United States of America. And this was very, very deep by Louis Farrakhan. And I have a lot of respect to this man because that is actually the truth. Look at now the craziness in the United States of America, the mass deportations. There is a lot of ICE raids. There is a lot at stake in United States right now. Imagine if black people stick together like I'm already seeing in many social media platforms. That would already mean that we'll be able to secure our people, we'll be able to secure our community, even in the midst of chaos in America. Our unity is actually more powerful than an atomic hydrogen bomb. We have prayed, but it hasn't worked out. We have gone to our knees, but we've not been able to ensure full unity of black people. The only way is for us to spread these messages and ensure that we are all woke, that we are all deprived or removed, from the mental slavery that our forefathers were put into. Black leaders should make a covenant with our people that we will never sell them out. Black leaders should actually come up, and tell the black masses that we are making a covenant, we will never sell you guys out. Because many a times black leaders on the big stages have not actually addressed the grievances of black people. The time that I knew that black folks will be more united and that our grievances shall be heard from the top stage was the time that our brother Barack Hussein Obama was the president of the United States of America. There were crazy celebrations all over the world. We knew as black people that for the first time black folks would put the interest, the black leader would put the interest of black people, on the front, we'd ensure that our problems are sorted. We'd ensure that black people are united through the presidency. But what happened? There were even more chaos amongst our community. Nothing much was done. And that is why Louis Farrakhan is saying that black leaders should make a covenant to the black masses to tell them that they shall not be sellouts in these offices, that they shall use the office to ensure that black people actually thrive. It proceeds to say that we as leaders must make a covenant with our people, that we must stand with them. We are becoming the enemy of ourselves, and we must bring people out of that. Family, we must come out from the mental slavery. Family, we must thrive as a people, and the only way is through our unity. I went further to do my research in regards to the same, and here's what I found out, about the state of black union as at February 26th of 2005. This initiative was started by Tavis Smiley, to ensure that black people actually unite. And Louis Farrakhan pointed out that black community generates about $750 billion annually, equivalent to the 12th largest global economy, yet lacks its own institution of self-sufficiency. Why are we not self-sufficient as a people? Remember, these are numbers in 2005. 750 billion, you know, and yet we are not self-sufficient as a people. The only thing that we should actually try and push harder is to ensure that black folks are fully self-sufficient, be it economically. You know, we just ensure that we are sufficient amongst ourselves. We create opportunities for our people. That way we can be able to thrive always, because many a times the things that make people, you know, go mad, the things that that make our community to struggle has always been economical. So when we are self-sufficient, then a solution is coming up for our problems. So Farrakhan called out on African nations to unite also, honoring land restitution efforts in South Africa while challenging black leaders to choose liberation over white approval. Well, some of the things that were highlighted in summary in this talk was self-reliance. Farrakhan stressed that economic strength and institutional building are essentials before seeking external aid. The other thing is unity in action. He said that transitioning from symbolic marches to sustained movement with accountability, you know, and leadership would actually do well for the black community. And lastly, he also spoke about the global perspective, encouraging a Pan-African vision, you know, criticizing the US hypocrisy and highlighting the liberation struggle abroad. The other thing he spoke about was social justice, where he addressed systemic racism, poverty, educational inequality, and governmental failures. His State of the Black Union speech aired on major networks and sparked widespread discussions. While the Millions More movement drew fewer people than hoped, Farrakhan sought durable partnerships, structured programs, and clarity of purpose beyond the event. Family, I want you to let me know in the comment section down below what you think about this amazing speech by Louis Farrakhan. Louis Farrakhan wows me each and every time I hear a different speech that he handles. You know, I am a Christian, but Louis Farrakhan is one Muslim guy that I find his teachings, you know, to just be general. His teachings to be those that ensure the black people are unified, the black numbers are empowered. Family, let me know in the comment section down below what you think about that speech. Kindly like this video so that it can be recommended to other YouTube users, and I'll be very, very grateful. We are currently on the road to 50,000 subscribers, and fam, we can never do this without your support. Kindly share the video widely. Remember, the goal of the channel has always been to unite black folks, ensure that black people are empowered, and ensure that we tell our stories our own way, because if we give the white supremacists an opportunity to tell our story, many a times our stories are distorted. Thank you, fam. See you all in our next episode. Goodbye for now.